High pressure can be so amazing for the neurodiverse brain because what it does is it just pumps through. Have you ever heard of somebody that's neurodiverse and they push a task off to the very last minute? What they're looking for is that high pressure, and their brain is seeking out those chemicals flowing through their brain. They're looking for adrenaline, dopamine, and they get a lot out of it in those high pressure situations. It also allows many folks that are neurodiverse to hyperfocus. And if you've ever heard about hyperfocus, it's a serious superpower when it comes to neurodiversity. That means the goals in mind, blinders are on, and they're going full ahead in this work burst that's going to complete a lot of information and cover a lot of information, complete a lot within a short amount of time. So high pressure situations actually can be really amazing when you have neurodiverse folks on your team. You also want to make sure that you have in mind is that after you get that burst of work and that hyper focus, there's going to be a need for recovery. So use those wisely. If you have something coming up and here's a deadline or something sprung on your team, definitely I would say tap into these superpowers that are naturally within neurodiverse folks. But then also be aware that you want to allow that person some recovery time and come back and do some debriefing and work through how can we do this better. Another caveat I would say is I wouldn't rely on this all the time. It takes a lot out of a neurodiverse person. It takes a lot out of anybody, but it definitely is going to take a lot out of the energy of a neurodiverse person to be always in those high pressure situations. So you might have a crash. You want to have the structure in place so that you can plan ahead. You can create those senses of urgency really easily with other smaller deadlines along the way. That would be the ideal. So as you're still tapping into and you're still managing the brain's reaction to that high pressure and that urgency, but you're not necessarily pulling up to the last minute when there's a lot to lose if things don't come together exactly at the moment that you need to. So when we think about high pressure situations and the performance of neurodiverse teams and how it compares to traditional, there are several superpowers. There's the hyperfocus, there's that burst of dopamine and adrenaline that they're seeking, and you're going to get a lot out of them, and you're going to get a little bit of a crash after that. But on traditional teams, many times there's more chaos. Whereas all of a sudden with that high pressure within the neurodiverse individual, it kind of brings it down. It's like quiet. It's that lull within the storm. Like I think about a tornado or a twister. Now they're in the middle of it, and it's kind of eerie and quiet, but all you see is right here. And beautiful, amazing work can come out of that. And then you've got to get back out on the other side of the twister. So I think it's definitely different within a traditional team, so a neurotypical team that's all neurotypicals and neurodiverse. The other differences is that you definitely need somebody on the team. I wouldn't say take a whole lot of neurodiverse folks and put them all together and there's nobody else that is neurotypical to keep that grounded, because that means that their strengths are probably going to be they're going to overlap in similar areas, and you need someone to balance that out. I think of that within my own teams. I think of how we need somebody that's going to be a task manager, who's going to keep us on track, who's going to be monitoring the time, because we could get off on this beautiful brainstorm of ideas and lots coming out. But if there is no structure to take those ideas and implement them into action, nothing's going to come to fruition. So there needs to be a balance between the neurodiverse teams, the neurodiverse folks on the team, and neurotypical. You want to have a blend.